Well, hello and welcome to GoWCUS episode 12. Today we're going to talk about the hallway track. The hashtag for the show is hashtag GoWCUS. So if you'd like to tweet at us or about us, please do that now. We are listening if you have questions, and this is a live show. So let's go ahead and start with intros. We'll start right on the left with Josepha. Welcome to the show.
Hi. Thanks for having me. What do you need me to say about myself, Steve?
Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
My name is Josepha Hayden, and a lot of you know me from working on WordPress stuff, WordCamps and meetups alike. What I do specifically is I am employed by Automatic to work on the WordPress community things and help the teams out there. So yeah, I think that's most of what I do.
Great. Laura.
Hello all, I'm Laura Byrne-Cristiano, and I'm part of the marketing social media team for WordCamp US. So if it's Twitter, if it's Facebook, if it's something along those lines, that's pretty much me.
Excellent. And I'm Steve Zenget. I'm the founder of Zeek Interactive, and I run the OC WordPress meetup. I'm also the lead organizer of WordCamp Orange County out here on the West Coast. And I'm on the organizing committee for WordCamp US. As we mentioned last week, sponsorships are sold out. So we'll see in 2018. Tickets are still on sale, correct?
Yes, tickets are on sale, and today is a super important date because it is the last day that we can guarantee that you will get a personalized name badge and a t-shirt in your preferred size. I mean, maybe we might be able to stretch this deadline till Monday, I don't know, but like, don't wait to the last minute, folks, or you're going to be the one writing in your name with a Sharpie. And we know that you don't want to be writing your name in with a Sharpie. So make sure, get those tickets ASAP to get them personalized and get the handy dandy commemorative t-shirt in the size that actually fits you and then is not too big or too small.
So register today or you are getting an extra small, and I will personally see to it.
Yeah, you're going to get the teeny tiny size shirt.
True.
Yeah, that's not going to work. So, you know, just, I mean, unless that happens to be your size, which is fantastic, but yes.
For what it's worth, I have maybe never heard such a strange t-shirt-based threat around badges.
You know what, though? It is kind of funny, though, because sometimes you do see people get disappointed, and then it's like what tends to be left are the edges of the size range, and if they're in the middle, it doesn't help them.
Yep.
Yes, but yes, make sure you get your tickets today. Anyway, today we are talking about the hallway track.
My favorite.
Your favorite?
Yeah.
Is the hallway track? That's not an official thing, is it?
No.
No, but we should probably start. I'm just thinking for newbies, like Steve, do you want to kind of define what it is for people? Like we all just sort of have called it the hallway track.
Yeah.
But I do realize enough people on Twitter have been like, so what's the hallway track? Like, so I don't know, why do you define it for folks?
Absolutely. Well, here's how we define it at OC. The hallway is anything that happens outside of sessions, right? So there's sessions, there's talks, there's organized things, but then there's all of the other stuff that happens outside in the hallway, right? The networking, the just getting together with friends, the sharing of knowledge, all of that stuff I just lump together as the hallway track, the stuff that happens when you're not in a session.
Yeah, definitely.
Is that a good definition?
Yeah, no, it is. And I mean, aside from like, it's pretty much ongoing the whole camp, there's also, I think we have a good solid 15 minutes in between scheduled sessions. So you've got some really good chunks of time that you can get out there into the hallway, meet people, connect, what have you. Or if there's a session that doesn't quite work for you, you've got another whole big swath of time there too that you can get out and enjoy it. And
I'm with Josepha on this one. This is actually my favorite part of WordCamp. I mean, there's a lot of great things about WordCamps, right? And I do go and listen to a lot of the sessions, but I actually go to see people and to network and to share knowledge and all that good stuff. So this is typically my favorite part of WordCamp as well.
And like specifically for WordCamp US and WordCamp Europe, for both of them, the hallway track for them is such a different and nuanced sort of thing that you can partake in. So like our community in WordPress is a big deal. Like everybody's really interesting and they're all just doing cool stuff and you want to hear about it. But like specifically for WordCamp US and WordCamp Europe, to my mind, those are inspirational and aspirational events. Like you get to come to those events and hear all the neat things that people are doing with WordPress and all the new things that might happen with WordPress. And so like if you don't talk to the other people who are doing that same thing in your community that you do, whatever it is that you do, by hanging out in the hallway track, you really can miss a lot of opportunities to try something brand new in your own personal local community. And so I love that at WordCamp US in particular.
And what I've always found true about our community and about WordCamps in general is that the people are approachable, right? That's not true of other communities, right? I've been to conferences where there are big names that you hear and they're not approachable, right? That's not true of our community. So if no matter who it is, if it's somebody that you want to go and talk to or share knowledge with or ask a question, just walk up and ask.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point too. I'm just thinking, Steve, when you're saying that, we have a lot of people who are giving talks and sessions, and some of them have a certain, I would say, claim to fame, more so than others. What's really awesome is after every one of the sessions, those speakers are going to be over in our happiness lounge area, which is for the hallway track. It's going to be on the second floor. So let's say you see a speaker and you're like, oh my gosh, I love the talk. I'd like to follow up with them, ask them another question, or just catch up. You have the chance to interact with that speaker up in the hallway track, up at the happiness lounge area. And I'm with you, Josepha. Like some of the best interactions I've had have been up in that sort of hallway track area after a session took place. I recently talked to WordCamp Baltimore, and I gave a whole session on social media tips and tricks that everybody should know.
Right.
And what was really cool is afterwards, I was having a conversation with a couple people who were just sort of getting into it, and they were afraid of making a mistake. And I said, why don't you just tweet as your dog? And they went, what? I said, seriously, it's the best ever. Create a Twitter account as your dog. My dog, in fairness, Scully the dog, has a Twitter account, and we use him as a test pilot all the time to like figure things out. There's no, give it a try. The dog all the time talks about its human. So it was really cool because I had this conversation with people specifically who were asking me, but at the same time, there were other people off to my right who were very seasoned WordPress people, and they were like, that's an awesome idea. I never thought of that. And I think you get a lot of that generically in that hallway track of you sort of overhear something or you're next to somebody and you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds amazing. And nobody's like, no, I won't share that knowledge with you. I don't know who you are. You can make those connections.
I've never found that in our community. I've never found that somebody is not willing to share their knowledge.
Yeah.
In our community.
Because, as I like to say in my getting started contributing talk, for us, knowledge we understand is like light from a candle. And so the more that you share it, the more light you have, as opposed to a piece of bread where you share more of it and the less of it you have. Like knowledge and sharing all of that information out into the community. I think that we as a community understand that helps everybody in a way that keeping it to yourself doesn't do. So, yeah.
Yeah, and just to compare, I've been in closed-sourced communities in the past, right? That were not fond of sharing knowledge because they believe that holding on to knowledge had some sort of power to it, right?
Or they'll share to the tune of $125 an hour. They'll share.
No, I think $125 an hour would be cheap in that. But that I think just the fact that we are in an open source community does have some influence there.
Yeah, definitely.
One tip I always give to new attendees, at least for WordCamp OC and for our meetup, is when you are having a conversation, if you are opening a conversation with somebody, just be genuine and go be yourself, right? The wrong way to open up a conversation at a WordCamp is to go and try to sell somebody something, right? You can do that, right? But you're probably not going to get very far because it's just not genuine, right? If you want to have a conversation with somebody, go up and say, hey, listen, I like what you said. I like what you talked about. I like what you said on Twitter, right? Or I like what you're doing, man. This is a cool thing, and I'd just like to hear your take on this, or share some knowledge about this. Those are good conversation starters.
Something that was brought up to me this summer. So for anyone who has not had a chance to interact with me, one, come to WordCamp US and find me because I love meeting new people. But if you haven't had a chance to interact with me, you may not know that I'm just a wild extrovert. Like I'll talk to anybody. But it was brought to my attention this summer while I was hanging around in a hallway track somewhere that whole thing is not necessarily built for introverts. It's really hard for people who don't necessarily want to go out and engage with strangers to like get really involved in that. So do either of you have like things that you recommend to people either at your meetup groups or in your word camps to like help the introverts get involved easier and have that be a less scary prospect to just wandering up to a group of strangers and start talking?
One of the things which actually was kind of cool is the WordCamp Philly just did this recently, which is they had stickers on their badges that said that kind of like, I'll hug and talk to anyone, come up to me, or
right.
There was it was like a traffic light, like red, yellow, or gold. Like, I'm not really looking for that immediate come up to me, but I'll listen to you. And then there was like the gold that was like in between, which I thought that was kind of cool. So it let you know who you were interacting with, because I think sometimes people think folks who are shy are standoffish, and they're not really. They're just a little shy. So that was actually kind of cool. It was like a visual way of knowing how to approach that person. And if they changed their mind halfway through the conference, they could get a different color sticker, you know. So that was that actually worked really well. I was kind of doubtful of it at first, but it actually worked really well.
Awesome.
One tip that I'm most aware of, kind of on the other side of that, Josepha, is I always try to be aware of my surroundings when I'm talking to a group of people, right? If I'm in a group of people, let's say there's 6 people and we're standing in a circle and it's very closed, right? I always try to do my best to open it up, right? Make some space. Or if somebody comes over and they're not saying anything, right? Make some space for them, or reach out my hand and shake their hand, just welcome them into the conversation.
Yeah.
So that's what I try to do as best I can when I'm in those kind of circles, because you're right? Some people are introverts and don't have the natural ability to just start a conversation or say hello.
Yeah. The other way too is I always say lunch is a really good opportunity also. If somebody's looking a little lost at lunch or anything, just invite them to sit down. The tables that we're going to have are pretty large. I think they seat 10 at the tables. So it definitely has an opportunity for lots of people to join in. And I would just say, like, go around the table at lunch and just kind of welcome people. Ask them, hey, what do you do? Where are you from? Is this your first WordCamp? Like, a lot of that just kind of breaks down the barriers and everything. I mean, when in doubt, talk about the food. We've got some really amazing food coming in. So I just think it's just food and table. It's just a great conversation breaker in of itself.
And my favorite, and just one last thing on the lunch table because we're there, my favorite thing to tell brand new WordPressers to do, especially at a lunch table, is to take off your badge and put it in front of your plate facing the other people so they can see your name. That's
great.
Yeah, I have been saved by that so many times because, of course, no one's going to remember my name. It's too complicated. But if I put it in front of my plate, then everybody can quickly see who's at the table. Yeah,
that's a great idea.
One of the things I said at WordCamp Nashville last year during my talk is have lunch or take your break or have coffee or even go to the after party with somebody that you didn't come with, right? So break away from the group that you came to WordCamp with and just go hang out with somebody new. And I think that works well as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the other thing that I think is really cool this WordCamp is that there's a lot of room to spread out. We are on 3 different floors of this venue, all of which are fully accessibility. You can get up, down, anything, elevators everywhere, so no worries about that as far as accessibility goes. But there's lots of room to spread out and have conversations, which is really cool. So you don't feel like, oh, I'm like right on top of the session room, I got to be quiet. Like, there's room, folks. Like, that's something we definitely made sure of. Also, because I know, Josepha, you did mention those introverts. We do have a quiet area. So if you're feeling a little overwhelmed, or if you just need to do something quickly for business and you just need somewhere to think, we do actually have a quiet area as part of the rooms that we will have for people.
It's brilliant. I like
it. Excellent. I like the badge tip. I'm going to use that this time around. I'd never even thought about it. That's great.
Yeah. The other thing, just to let people know, is definitely get up to our hallway area. We have plenty of free coffee all through the day, coffee and snacks. It's up in our sponsor area. We also have our happiness lounge up there, and we also have our swag, which is free swag, folks. By the way, giving away a T-shirt, and also another item that's a surprise. You'll see when you get there. Last year's, I have my little model here. was this
Yes.
Cultural Step
Wow.
WAPU. So it's not a WAPU this year, but there will be something else that will be very cool that you can take away. And obviously there are other things you could buy if you wish to purchase other items, but there will be a very cool free t-shirt and other item for you up there on the on that area. So definitely swing by.
Cool.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a good place to end. Do we, Laura? I apologize. Do we know what we're talking about next week?
I don't think we quite planned what we're talking about next week. I have a feeling like next week will probably be our final episode before because we got Thanksgiving coming up, and then we've got the camp itself. So I kind of feel like next week will be our finale one. Maybe we'll do a final tips episode or something like that next week, because I'm pretty sure we're going to be so busy at Thanksgiving and afterwards.
Probably.
Yeah.
I want to mention, if I failed to mention it at the very beginning of the show, that WordCamp is 3 weeks away.
It's so exciting. I'm so excited.
20 days. 20 days.
I'm with you. I think next week will be our final show of GoWCUS, and that's good. We'll wrap it there. Thank you, Josepha, for being on, and everybody have a great weekend. And we'll see you at WordCamp.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.